Hey guys, BPW here, Best Pure Wrestling. This is a new thing I want to be doing on this channel as well, and when I can get more figures as well. We're going to do some action figure surgery. In today's video, I'm going to be swapping a head on this one, changing a few boots, getting rid of some stiffness in legs, and all that. We'll start off with the ones that I've done off camera, just to test out and see how well it'll work. This is the Ultimate Edition Rock. Instead of having the Ultimate Edition boots that swivel like this, I didn't like that when I tried posing him with like his legs bent and stuff. So we swapped those boots for the Elite boots. Very good fit. So this one is done. And then I also made a Roman Reigns ring promo gear, if you want to call it that. I just added the bracelets and stuff on just a few minutes ago. This head came off my actual roster Roman Reigns, so that head will have to go back on him until I can get one for this one. The formula for this is Shane McMahon lower legs. That comes with the announce table. I can't remember what series it was or anything. The Rock Elite for the lower and upper body, along with the arms. Same with the hands, which the Ulafala shirt and the head scan came from Roman, of course. But that is my ring promo Roman. I guess what we can do to get this started is by doing the simplest thing first. I want to try to make a Rock promo gear. We're just going to do a simple head swap here. This came in the Legacy 3-pack, so we're just going to pop his head off real quick and pop this other head on. I mean, it don't look the greatest, but it'll work for a ring promo gear until I can find a better formula and stuff. So there's the Rock promo gear. This head will save for the fodder part, just like with these Ultimate boots. We'll save those for fodder, so put those back there. Okay, now the next easiest thing to do, well, I should go through and explain everything. For Sheamus, we're going to try to get rid of the stiffness in this leg. I mean, everything bends out and everything, but this leg just wants to kind of go back down. You can only bend this leg out this way. This one does not bend that way, so we're going to try to work on that. Same with these figures right here, like The Miz, Bret Hart, and Kane. The reason why you see shirts on these is because they was crowd members. I just pulled them out of the crowd to work on them. If I could fix them, I might add one or two to the roster. But we're trying to get the stiffness out of those legs as well. And then for Seth Rollins here, we're going to be taking these boots off and putting black boots on him. For Shinsuke here, we're going to be taking the lower boots off here, and we're going to replace them with these boots here. And then when I get my custom figure in, I'm going to take these boots and put onto my custom figure if I can. And then for the Disciple back here, he's my general manager for my pig fed, or if you want to call it a pig fed. It's just an older Elite Cody Rhodes body all the way, besides the Triple H pants and Tony D'Angelo shirt and the Disciple head. What we're going to do on him is change out his arms and this hand right here. That way he looks more legitimate. But I'm going to sit there and start with, I think, the easiest thing possible is Seth Rollins. We're going to get all this stuff off here. I'm hoping this turns out good and don't ruin my Seth Rollins, because that's the only Seth Rollins I do have. So we're going to push everything off to the side, that way it don't get heated. If you hear any background noise, I got some family over, so you ain't gotta worry about that. We're gonna try to heat all this up together if I can. Just slide them in there. And we will be using a hairdryer for this, so I'm sorry for headphone users. If you are using headphones, I'm very sorry. But, well, actually I could fix the camera a little bit. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm so sorry about that. We're gonna go ahead and get this action figure surgery started. Again, I'm sorry to the people that use headphones. Hopefully that's enough to do this. Oh, please don't break. Maybe a little bit more heat to get that one off. Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more heat on Seth here. I'm really not trying to break him whatsoever, which I'm hoping I don't. But we're gonna get this heated up again. Again, I'm sorry for the headphone users. Maybe that's enough this time. It's very hot, so hopefully it is. Please don't break the peg. There we go. Try to get this one off. This is my first action figure surgery, so I might not do that good of a job, or I might be doing something wrong. It feels like I already am. Trying to get that peg out of there. All right, we're gonna heat this part back up, guys. I'm so sorry about this. This is my first figure surgery, so. Try this again, guys. Good Lord. Oh, there comes the boot. Please pop out there. There we go. All right, now we got the Seth. I'm gonna check the joints right quick to make sure I didn't mess them up or anything. If I can get the knee pad off. Like I said, this is the only Seth Rollins figure I have. So I'm just checking to make sure I didn't damage the rest of the figure, which I don't think I did. So we're just gonna pop this knee pad back on there. I can remember what way I took it off. Again, guys, I'm so sorry. This is my first time doing anything like this. Okay, I didn't ruin that joint, so I don't have to take that knee pad off. It's going to feel loose for a little bit, but that's because of the heat. Before this cools down, I'm going to try to pop this back into the boot, which I'm probably going to have to heat that back up. So, yeah, we're going to probably have to heat this back up. Okay. We're also going to heat this up too. We'll do it on low, that way it don't blow everything everywhere. You know, we'll just do it on high, just try to get everything. It'll really burn your hands if you don't watch it. Try to get that back in there. All right, we got that boot back on. Try to get these on before it starts to cool off. And I don't think it's really gonna work, but we'll check here in just a second. I mean, I like the look, don't get me wrong. The only thing I don't like about it is the joint, well, not the joints, but the actual boots itself. These have like a little socket in them. These other boots don't. I mean, it'd probably work, but I really don't like how that sits on the figure. It just kind of makes the figure look a little bit messed up. So I'm gonna heat this back up and put the other boots back on since it didn't work out in my favor. Actually, might as well heat these up while I'm at it. Trying to get this done before everything starts to cool down. got those boots back on there. The black did look good, but it's just a simple fact they didn't really line up. I might throw them back on. It might take some time getting used to and stuff, but it's just a simple fact of the boots. They'll stick way out to the side and stuff, and I really don't like it like that, so. Didn't ruin my Seth Rollins, so that's great. We'll pop everything back on. I really did like how the black looked though. It's really kind of hard to decide, to be honest with you. I mean, the black pairs very well with this. You know what, actually, we're just going to put the black on there and leave it. I'm sorry guys that I can't make up my mind. I'm very sorry about that. Hopefully we'll make up our mind before too long. Again, this is my first action figure surgery, so a little bit nervous and everything. I got the right boot on. I'm just trying to work on that left one. I'll heat up the boot just for a minute. Should be good. Trying to slide this on here. All right, we got a good connection there. That's the only thing I don't like about doing that. I mean, it looks very good, to be honest with you. I would just recommend that if you have a little bit of OCD, just kind of not stare at the boots a lot. Because if you have a little bit of OCD, that will get to you. Again, I'm sorry for changing my mind multiple times. We'll put all of his stuff back on him here in a little bit, and I'll show everything at the end. These, they'll go over to the fodder part. Sorry for the confusion. The next thing we're going to work on is the disciple for my GM. I would recommend taking all the cloth goods off or all the rubber goods off, besides like elbow pads and knee pads. Just that way you don't ruin any cloth or rubber goods. As you can see here, it's a little bit hard getting the Triple H pants off. As you can see, this is the older Cody Rhodes. What we're going to do here is just heat up the arms and replace the hand. So this one will go here and vice versa. So we're going to get to that right quick, and then we'll show everything at the end once again. It takes a few seconds to heat it up if you have it on high heat. Maybe that one didn't get that good. Trying to pop it out. Sorry for hitting the camera, guys. We'll try to get these arms on here. I probably should have heated those up as well. All right, yeah, we're gonna have to heat those up right quick. Hit them with a little bit of low heat. Should be enough. All right. And then just a simple fix here. All right, we'll put all his stuff back on him and we'll take a look at him here in just a minute. All right, in our next part, before we get to our next part, I want to try to visualize it a little bit before I start it. Now, some of these figures will probably go back into my crowd, or I might keep them out of the crowd. It just depends on how I really want to do it. I think with our next part, we're going to try to work on getting these boots, the black parts took out of them, and try to get the red parts took out of Shinsuke. So I'm going to try to do this all in one go. We're going to heat it up a little bit, so hopefully I don't burn myself here. Okay, move my hands too quick. We're going to try this again. Should be enough for Shinsuke. Hopefully these boots are going to look amazing after I get everything connected and stuff. I will show Shinsuke after we get everything done here. I think I'm gonna have a problem with this. Give me just a minute here, guys. Trying to figure it out. All right. All right, guys, we got those done. I'll show those after everything as well. Before I get started on these figures, I want to try to put all the stuff back on to the figures that I took the accessories off since they cooled down a little bit. So I'm going to pause the video here, get that done, set everything off to the side, and then get working on this. Sorry about that, guys. Took a little bit longer than anticipated. We're gonna get all the shirts and stuff off these figures and try to work on the looseness, well, the stiffness that they have. Try to see if I can get them back to where they need to be instead of them being stiff. That way maybe I can use them in my pick fed and stuff. Back the camera up here, that way y'all can see. The thing that I really don't like about this Sheamus is you got to take the hands off just to get the jacket off. Mattel should have came up with a little bit looser fit kind of jacket for Sheamus. Still a great figure, all in all, but I think they should have came up with a little bit better of a solution. I'm so sorry that this video is going to be long too, so just kind of bear with me. All right, now we're going to start working on the stiffness of these. I'm going to try to do 2 at a time. Hopefully that'll work. If not, We'll do one, so here it goes. Should be heated up enough. You're just going to pop the legs off. If you can, try not to break anything on your figures. Actually, I think that just loosened up the joint right there. We're still going to pop the leg off. I wish I had more Sheamus figures to actually make my own custom Sheamus. But that's all right. So we'll pop those back on here in just a second. Bret Hart has actually loosened up as well. I'm gonna pop these off. It's just the different factories that Mattel has switched over to using from China to Taiwan. It's just the molds are a little bit too stiff for the figures. I really wish they'd go back to China and making them. They was better, in my opinion. That wasn't so stiff. So we're gonna let those cool off back here in the back. And we're gonna work on Kane and The Miz. Same thing here. We're going to do both of them at the same time since it worked out well. Just kind of use the legs that ain't stiff, propped out, and then we're going to hit them with high heat. Should be enough here. Loosen up the Miz, very good. Kane is very loose as well. So we're going to give these a little bit of time to cool off, and then I'll add everything back in. That way the joints kind of have a little bit of time to cool down. While that's doing that, since Sheamus and Bret has had time to cool down, they're not hot no more. I want to put the legs back on there and check and see how the joints are. We're not going to heat up the actual bodies, we're just going to heat up the legs over there so those can sit off to the side. We'll just kind of place them all kind of like this. Hopefully that'll work. We'll hit them with low heat instead of high, that way they don't blow everywhere. Alright, hopefully that has heated up enough. Alright. We're going to give that time to cool off, check back with it, and see if there is still stiffness in it. And then we're going to heat up these just a little bit, since those were a little bit hard to get on. We'll hit them with a little bit of high right quick. Hopefully that solves the issue with stiff joints. With them being hot, they're very loose, which they're going to be very loose when they're hot. So we'll let them cool down, kind of settle and everything, and see how that'll work. Next up, we're going to do the Miz. By the time I get Miz and Kane done, Brett and Sheamus should be cooled off enough to kind of check. So we're just going to kind of speed run through this instead of talking, since you see me do it on Brett and Sheamus. So. Alright guys, we're gonna let Kane and the Miz cool off there for a little bit. Table was a little bit hot as well. Sheamus and Brett has had time to cool down. It has gotten rid of all the stiffness in those joints. You can actually pose it around a lot better now. When you sit there and set the legs up before I heated it up, they would just go back down. So Sheamus is good to go. Brett still has a little bit of stiffness in this side. I mean, he wasn't able to do that before without almost breaking him, so that's a very good sign. So, and he wasn't really able to stand, and which now you can see he's able to stand. So Brett's very good now. The Miz and Kane still needs a little bit of time to cool off. So I want to get everything back on everybody. I'm going to pause the video here. We're going to stand everything up. That way you can see what we done on our very first action figure surgery. Alright guys, sorry about the pause again. This was my very first action figure surgery. I think everything came out good. The figures has had time to cool down, check the joints and everything. There's still a little bit of stiffness in the right leg of Brett right here, but I'm pretty sure I work with him a little bit, the stiffness will go away. The Miz, Sheamus, and Kane is doing perfect. My top two favorite figures out of this surgery fix-up is Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. These boots came out very good as well. We'll go through them right quick. We put black boots on Shinsuke, which I think is a nice look. Then we also have promo Roman Reigns. I still need to get a head sculpt to put on this one. And then we switched the Elite boots. Well, we switched the Ultimate Edition boots to Elite boots for The Rock. We switched the boots for Seth Rollins, very good. I really like how it came out and everything. So we switched those. Bret Hart, we were just trying to get rid of that stiffness in the left leg. As you can see, it's very good now. Same thing with Kane, stiffness in the left leg, very good now. Sheamus, left leg, very good. The Miz was kind of both legs, so he's very good now. Then we have the promo Rock. Very simple thing I done was just change the head sculpt. So that'd be a promo Rock for my pig fed. And then we have the Disciple, just change his lower arms. Put a fist over here, get rid of that wrist tape. That is my general manager, so very good fix for that. And then also these boots came out very well. These will probably go on to a figure that I might create one day. If you do want to see more videos like this and everything, drop a comment down below. I know this has been a long video. Once again, I'm sorry about that, but this was my first time messing with any figures like this. So I want to thank y'all again, and hopefully we have more action figure surgery.